I said I was a player, and the game crashed on me, right in the midst of GAC. And that's about the time CG hung up on me. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Xerath Prevails. We're in the Plan, which is my weekly show talking about the various shenanigans that CG has gotten up to over the week, and maybe some player shenanigans as well. We've got a busy slate ahead of us. Lots to talk about. There's always a lot to talk about, guys. People say that we shouldn't do... I've had a few people say I shouldn't try to do a weekly show. And honestly, I've had something to talk about every week, usually at length, in fact. Not that we're talking about length here, guys. Or girth, that's for later. But please, like and subscribe, comment, help me mount the algorithm. In fact, that's where those other words that I just said we were going to talk about later come in. I didn't say how much later. It was like literally 1 second later, 1 sentence later. But please, guys, help me mount that algorithm. We've slowed down a little bit since that crazy momentum boost we got toward the end of the year last year. But we've grown a lot this year. It would be really nice to get to 15K before the year is up. And that would be great. I would really appreciate that. If we can't do it, I get it. We've actually done okay considering the pandemic and everything. That being said, we got the stuff to talk about in the game. As for videos that I've made this week, I've made a few of them, started doing my GAC stuff, and we're probably going to start formatting them a little bit, do a little bit easier grade on formatting. I'm gonna mess around a little bit this weekend and really work on 1 or 2 videos and see what kind of production value. That's one thing I want to do on this channel, is get my production value up, and we're going to be working on that. I've just got a new desk and everything, and this is stuff, if you guys want to support me through Patreon or something, trying to up my production value is huge, but it also costs big money. So, things like Patreon or donating on this channel, donating through Twitch if you want to watch me live, any of that stuff, guys, would really help. It has helped, and continues to help. But if you want to speed the process along, that would be much appreciated. That being said, I did make this infographic in Photoshop about the tanks ranking. It's contentious, and someone told me that I missed 5s based on my own criteria, and I actually agree with them. I think 5s as a tank is he's not S tier. He's like S tier of a character, but not as a tank itself. So good call on the person who called me out on that. That's something I'll change at some point, maybe, if I do another tanks ranking. Now, I did unlock Jabba. I got him up to 7 before GAC lock, but it was tough going, man. It's tough. I'm out of resources. I just am. I'm capped, kind of. It's tough. He took all my gear, 12 stuff. I had enough stuff for him. I got him straight to 13, and then it was like, well, I'm out of relic materials, and more than that, I'm out of signal data. Even though I do 3 refreshes all the time. And so when I got to Ben, which was like a couple days later, I got him unlocked. I got him straight to 12. I have a ton of core gear just sitting around. Even after I just geared, I've geared all the new characters up to 11, etc. And, saved all the gear for the gear 12, pre-built all the gear. I'm still, my lowest piece is I get 350 for one of the types of Cairo, but... so that's not an option. As a veteran player who's spent quite a bit of money on this game, it's fine. I think that I'm starting to get, I'm starting, there's some weariness that's setting in or something, folks. I don't know about you. It's been an exhausting year. We've had a lot of new characters, and I do really enjoy Ben Solo quite a bit. His kit is really cool. He is one of the most broken characters in the game in terms of he's bugged. He's not broken. He seems really like he's gonna be good, but we don't know. The CG has acknowledged one of them, but you'll have that from CG. You can see I want to use him. I put 3 Omicrons on him. I had him saved. I didn't have enough gear because the vile gangster stole it all, which is pretty typical, I suppose. He smuggled it in. He's a smuggler. It's so crazy that he's a smuggler. It's like he just like stashes things in his folds or something. But anyways, Jabba took all my gear, and for the first time ever, I think, I went into GAC lock with an unlocked good character, like one of the top release characters, that I had him unlocked, I had him ready, and I just didn't spend money to get him to gear 13. I don't know if that's ever happened. A major release character that I was like, you know what? It'll be a surprise for week 3. Like, I just don't have the wherewithal to do this. I don't have it, guys. My alt actually got him to relics. My main account ran out of gear, and I don't know. I just felt this huge amount of apathy of like, I'm tired. I'm tired and cranky and don't want to go through the hoops of trying to jump through this, of trying to get all of his gear, trying to get everything ready for Sweat Stain Ben to get here with, look at his huge lightsaber. Gosh, I guess it goes with the Swallow motif, but anyways, I'll use him next week. I'm excited to use him. It's not like I'm tired of the game exactly. There's elements that I'm just like, all right, I could take a break from that, but I'm not tired of the game really. This has been a crazy release cycle, and I don't know, like, I guess in terms of game health, it's good, right? Like, we want there to be a lot of teams and a lot of stuff to strive for as players. If they continue this crazy release cycle, like, eventually they're going to even leave me behind. And I spend enough money on this game that I shouldn't be falling behind, frankly. And, I guess it's fine if they want to do that. I think in years past, there's been a much slower release cadence, and a lot of players, even free-to-play players, were starting to catch up. I know that my buddy Calvin Awesome, for instance, used to say he's never going to have all the GLs. He's going to have half of them because they release them too fast. He can't keep up. And now he has all 6. I mean, he doesn't have Jabba yet, so I guess there's 7. But yeah, he caught up. Like, people were catching up. And you don't want people to catch up in this kind of game. I know that it feels nice, and that's what we're all striving for, right? We all want to catch up. And I'm not telling you that it's bad to be caught up or to want that. I guess all I'm saying is from like the way this game is built, the game is a roster building game, right? We want to plan our rosters. We want to figure out and prioritize. And if it's always just easy, it's like, yeah, we have all the cool releases, and now we just coast from release to release because they're not being released fast enough. Like, that tends to be a little bit of an issue in a game like this. I'm not trying to say you guys shouldn't be caught up or something. I just think that the nature of this kind of game is you want to be planning. You want to be trying to figure out what you're working on, and if there's not enough to plan about that, it loses a lot of appeal. I liked that aspect of this game a lot longer before GAC came out. That's what appealed to me initially. So anyways, I guess I'm on a little bit of a tangent. I do think that it's good to have a lot of teams being released. I feel like CG should pump their brakes a little bit because they have so crazily fast outdistanced me on my alt, and my main account is starting to get there. I'm just like, do I really have the energy for this Afra madness? I'm not sure, but one way or another, just something to be thinking about, folks. It's probably good to have this crazy release cadence and then maybe pump the brakes a bit. I did get a new phone recently. My 4-year-old drew this picture of someone. Probably one of you guys. I'm not sure. I have like a little stylus. It's pretty cool. Anyways, Skando's finally farmable. That's good. It might have been nice if CG had put Chrysanthemum on the hard node and put either Skando or, even better, Boosh on the Cantina just to make the farm for Jabba a little faster for people who are ready. But this is a good sign, I think. Seems like a good sign. Finally released, though. They did release him way later than they usually do release new characters on the marquees. He's a Jabba unlock character. I guess we could be partially okay with that. We do have the murder bots here, and they're kind of fun. fake R2-D2 and 3PO. I don't know. I just, even though I read the comics, I'm one of the few who out there who's read the comics, who play this game and have read them, like, they just always kind of annoyed me. They just kill a lot of people. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just some sense of just existential dread of what's going to happen to our society, but the idea of machines just murdering a bunch of humans and like enjoying it, you know, just beings, I guess. It's not just humans, but in our case, I think we just have humans at this point in our time frame, but I just don't know. They've always just annoyed me, especially, yeah, they just, but I will admit that I was wrong, by the way. I thought that we were going to get all neutral characters for the Afra unlock, and that was not the case. They're definitely dark side. Now, one thing I will say, I don't know what to make of it. I think it's good. So they have this release, and Meatface, whatever his name is, it has all this flavor text in here. So I added some of them. I think I got most of them, but you know, the Haywire granted ability hits all others units on the battlefield. Beep, boop, beep, boop, 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 boop. Everyone gets booped. You guys can read all this. I'm not gonna read it. He thought it was cool though. They all thought it was neat, and I guess at the end of the day, folks, it's good that they got excited and passionate about it, right? I mean, you want the devs to be excited about the game. And I know that he makes silly jokes. I make pretty silly jokes myself. I don't love his humor the most. I'd really like to get our permanent community manager. By the way, folks, I don't know about you. It would just be nice so that we don't have other miscues and things. I feel like there was another slide for the bots, but you know, we'll find them eventually. Now, yeah, we'll find that later, and we'll talk about it. So, all right. So you remember last week when CG fixed a thing, like there was all these crashes in GAC, and you know, because of BAM being like, there was some loading thing for BAM, and that all these crashes, CG fixed it, and then didn't tell anyone. Well, now we have. So this is like, alright, CG's acknowledging that there's a Ray and Ben bug. That's the one I was telling you about. Look at the bottom, though. We'll keep folks posted after my coffee if I remember. This is from Meatface himself, and I don't know, like, there's a lot of people who are seriously offended by the fact that he didn't tell them about it last time, and maybe that's a little bit of an overreaction. I don't know, but I think that him making fun of people, like making light of their frustration, it's not my favorite, guys. Not to mention remembering things. I don't know. I'll forget people's names and stuff, but when it comes to the job that I have, I've remembered a lot of things, as far as I know. I've remembered a lot of things, and it seems like maybe if it's your job, maybe don't forget. You know, maybe try being organized or something. Not sure. Alright, so we have the new marquees that are out, and they didn't let us hit auto for them. They're going to force us to play, and it takes a long time. And how many people were annoyed? Like, there was this time that Droideka has damage immunity, and you just sit there waiting for him to, like, go out of damage immunity. You just shoot him and shoot him and shoot him, and look at the kit and worry that he's going to kill you because you've taken, like, 20 turns before he does a really appallingly low number of damage. But, like, how many people were worried? Like, oh no, which button do I need to push to dispel? Oh, we can't dispel. Hey, look, it was CG. They were like, hey, we just wanted to highlight. You can't do it. You can't dispel with this character. Like, that way to sell it, CG. They can't dispel. There's something that's really basic. They're designed for 3v3, and apparently they want us to take them with Sortie in 3v3 and buy their Omicrons for 3v3, great. And they can't even dispel, which is like a really basic tenet in 3v3. Like, most teams really need to do that, or be able to ignore taunt, which they can't do either. I just don't know. I also think that the 3v3 Omicrons for them it's a little bit silly, to be honest. Alright, so you guys remember this statement. I just wanted to point this out. I think I'm going to make a video on this. There's been some just completely stupid videos out there of people with 106% dodge. They throw a team in there and then they just dodge the whole time and they don't get hit, and they don't get hit for 5 whole minutes. And I fail to see how that's fun. The people playing it certainly didn't have fun. And the people watching it whose guys they were, like, I'm guessing they felt like a tiny bit guilty. Like, well, I have to do this to win. And you can't blame players for playing the datacrons that they're given. You know, I guess you can. But for me, it's frustrating, though. And, I mean, I just want to remind you, you know, though through our data and your feedback, we will continue to look for more ways to make datacrons interesting to use. For the past 6+ years, our ultimate goal is to create a fun experience in Galaxy of Heroes, and they'll continue to follow that mission. And then, in the same breath, the exact same time that they said that, they released Dodge Datacrons alongside some of the most broken mechanics ever to come into the game, and it's just so unfun. If you, the thing that's interesting to me though too, guys, is so that comes from this Datacron set 4 feedback response information thing. Like, that's more viewed than the really exciting Road Ahead that came out right afterward. And then you look at just for context, I just added a few other posts, and none of them actually matter other than just as context of, you know, all of them get a few thousand views, but none of them get to the 70,000 views. You can go and look yourself. Like, these views are actually pretty big compared to a lot of other ones. Like these are, you know, once you get to 70,000 views on their forums, that's a lot. More people have looked at their crap responses to Datacron Set 4 than people who have looked at Road Ahead, that exciting Road Ahead where they announced Jabba, where they announced the new territory battle, where they announced all that stuff. And yeah, it's pretty fun, guys. I don't know if they announced Jabba then, actually, now that I'm thinking of it, but it was an exciting Road Ahead. So people are paying attention, CG. Alright, so everything's crashing. I had a crash in GAC because I was on a business trip, and so I had to play on my phone, and the first attack crashed. And it was a very important attack. You guys will see in the video. Very important attack, and CG has put out a survey of like, hey, if you've crashed in GAC or whatever, then tell us about it. Please, tell us your experience. And people are complaining about, like, oh, that's pathetic. I don't know. I think that there's a certain level of humility that's important here, guys. That in that, you think CG wants to ask for help? I'm guessing they don't. I'm guessing they wish it was self-contained. But they can't replicate it, and they need player help. And my guess is that the developer team is like, yeah, we would love to hire a ton more people and have a lot of money, but the people making the decisions higher up have decided not to. They only want one laptop for everyone and for the whole group. And so, I don't know, I see this as actually a positive. Like, yeah, I don't love the idea of players having to quote-unquote be their testers, but at the same time, this is a fairly minor thing that we can do to help, I think. They're trying to fix it. They don't know what's wrong. This is an older game at this point. I don't see this as a bad thing. Lots of things CG are doing is bad right now. I don't think this is bad. This is them asking for help. I mean, that's stuff to do for some people. Alright, here's a gratuitous shot of Hut Slayer Leia, folks. This is in the Jabba event, and I just, you know, yes, we finally, quote-unquote, finally got Bikini Leia. We kind of got her. Like, she's still wearing a dress. I mean, it's not entirely Bikini Leia, but, I mean, I hope you're just really excited by this. You guys clambered for it. She's in the game. You'll get to see this. You'll get to see her 12 different times if you unlock Jabba's ultimate. So something to work towards, guys. Hashtag goals. Am I right? All right. I think that's it. What do you guys think? What are you thinking about the game? I'd like to hear what your thoughts are in general, of course. I read all the comments. I can't respond to all of them as usual. Well, you know, I try to leave a heart or something, thumbs up when I can, but I always read your comments. Love to hear what you have to say. I don't know, I just keep finding myself weary. Not like tired of the game. I'm just it's just an interesting series of progression. I really hope CG fixes their Datacron stuff, guys. They really need to fix that. I mean, the prospect of another 2.5 months of this dodge crap is just not fun. I don't know how they thought it was an okay thing. I don't know who thought it was a good idea to add dodge mechanics to Datacrons. I just don't know how that is fun. I don't know how that is ultimately fun. The way they say that, an ultimate, like that's their ultimate goal is to provide fun. It's not fun, it's frustrating. It's stupid. People pay money to avoid it and that's what they want. But it's not fun. It's not a good playing experience. People just get angry. They throw their phones. I don't need to get all worked up. I got worked up in my podcast the other day about it. It's bothering me though, guys. So just so you know, I'm not just glossing it over. It's frustrating, especially at the top where I'm facing these guys with crazy high dodge Datacrons. Not my idea of joy. That being said, I will let you go, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Xaereth is frustrated lately.